My my career started not as a photographer, something I always wanted to do in high school. I wanted to be a photojournalist. There was something romantic about that. I wanted to wear a leather jacket and a scarf and such. But in high school, my photo teacher actually said to me that I highly recommend you don't be a photographer because you suck. And that was a direct quote. And it was that moment where I said, okay, I'm not a photographer. So I put my camera away and I went to art school. And upon graduating art school in Canada, I came to the Netherlands and I got a job with Rem Koolhaas's Office for Metropolitan Architecture, OMA. And it was there where I actually picked up a camera again, just for memorial's sake, to take some snapshots, souvenirs. I remember really, I loved the feel of the camera in my hands. And taking that picture was something that kind of recharged in my brain and my body and say, okay, I need to be a photographer. And that was around 2000 where I finally made the transition from architecture into photography. I've never really even seen myself as a photographer, but what I'm really interested in is a pursuit of ideas, and I come up with an idea, and I like to then explore that idea. And right now, I'm exploring it visually, and I'm using pictures to do it. Photojournalism is in, I think, crisis point. Although maybe crisis point isn't the way to describe it. No, I can't call it a crisis point. I can call it a transition point. I don't know what the future is going to hold for photography, but I do know what it can hold for myself. And the way I kind of went about it was I don't really do many assignments. I never really got assignments. I didn't know how to get an assignment even to begin with. So in my world, I don't really know what I'm missing. So what I like to do is try to find outside funding. I've been successful in getting some grants, some prizes and such that have allowed me to earn an income. I teach workshops, etc. So for me, not having assignments and not really knowing even how to go about assignments, it forced me to go out and find my own way. But I also don't see it as just one block. I'd like to see it, it's got to be a pie. And we need many slices in our pie. So I have multiple slices going on that all bring me in an income. And if I have to depend on one slice, it's not going to get me through. But the idea is that I have multiple things that are constantly bringing in an income. And I think for me, it's been great because it's allowed my career to be fluid, and I can sort of control it and bring it to where I want it to go. Yeah, some recent work that's been successful for me is, I guess, been Interrogations, which was a book that came out in 2012, which was about 7 years total of working on that project. I mean, it's interesting now where it's been condensed into one project, but while I was working on it, it was multiple strands. But it took me about 7 years to finally determine where that work should go. So for me, that's probably been the highlight of my career so far. It's definitely Interrogations, but that's a struggle that I think all artists and photographers have: is you make something and then how do you move forward? And I'm at a point right now where, I've dabbled in a few other projects, but right now I'm working on something that is, I finally found meaning again, and I'm excited to go do that. And it's a project about the beaches of D-Day in Normandy. And I'm taking a completely different approach to Interrogations visually, but I still think the themes and the ideas are together. So it's a consistent body of work. I actually was nominated one year and I got rejected, and I was really bummed about that. So it's nice to come back as a master. And one thing why I always wanted to be a student and a teacher here, but more so to be a student, was because I think this is a week where you're going to get incredible access to key people that have already experienced what you're thinking about right now. I say it's you're thinking about something. And that to me is a really crucial part of artistic development, because when you get to that place where you know you need to go further, you know you need to make a change, you know you need to do something, make something, but you don't know how to do it. You're not quite equipped with the tools to do that. And I think the masterclass is a great place to finally go from thinking about thinking to actually thinking and then doing. So my art school teacher said I sucked as a photographer. Many people before Joop Swart said I was a terrible photographer. And then, getting rejected by Joop Swart and losing prizes. I mean, out of every success I've had, I've probably had 10 rejections. But I know without having those rejections, it just hasn't inspired me to sort of reflect back upon, well, why was I rejected? Why did Joop Swart Masterclass reject me? And I take a look and I think about, well, it could be X, Y, or Z. I don't know what it is, but at least for me, it's about looking back and reflecting, and then I can move forward. And I think my rejection of Joop Swart is a great example of being rejected for something, but now I'm here, but instead I'm on the other side. So I've actually quite surpassed my original goal of wanting to be a part of Joop Swart.